So Sunday morning about 9:15, been out here for an hour, wasted an hour playing darts. But today I want to get stuck into it. I want to remove all the body parts, nose cone off, guards off, inner guards. I'll leave the radio support panel because I want to fill the engine up, change all the fluids on the engine and give that a good run at say 2000 RPM for 20 minutes, and hopefully things clear out. We'll see how it's really running, and then we'll start the process of getting that all sorted as well, you know, new gaskets and swap the cam out and all that sort of thing. But today is about getting all the body parts off. I'll probably leave the windscreen in because I don't want to pull the dash out just yet. I want to leave that in there. What I found last time was every time I pulled something out you had to store it somewhere and didn't want to get it damaged, so I'm going to try and leave as much there, and I'll just cover it all up best I can. There's not a lot in there. We'll take all these clips off, rear bumpers off, light surrounds out. I've got a set of wheels off a mate, rang me up, said, you don't know anyone chasing a set of Q rims? I said, yeah, I do actually. So I bought them up. I'm going to put them on here. That way these won't get damaged while I was paint stripping it. And also I'm going to sell those wheels to put it back into the budget. While I was out during the week, I went to the cheap shop and bought a big container with a lid on it, 140 litres. I'm going to fill that up with molasses and drop all my parts in it. Things like the seat bases, these hinges. The other hinge I won't put in because they've got the winder on it. I don't want to mess around with those. All the inside panels of the tray. Also things like the bumper brackets and anything else that needs you know, de-rusting. The only thing you can't put in headlight surrounds and stuff like that. It does remove the paint. It removes the acrylic lacquer, no worries. Sometimes if the 2-pack's not been sprayed on properly or it's old, it will soften it up and make it easier to come off. But normally acrylic lacquer it takes off no worries. 2-pack it struggles with a bit. But that's what we're up to today. So we're going to try and get a big day today, get as much done as possible and really start to get into it. So I'm keen, very keen. But this is what happens, I do get keen, then I have lazy patches. So first up off with the nose cone. One of the best things that you can buy, yoga mat. Great for knees, getting old, lay on the ground. Makes life a lot easier. Super expensive too, like 10 bucks. So you can get a bit of oil and shit on them, you just throw them away and get another one. I was wondering what was going on with this guard with the curve here missing. And I just popped this out, and guess what? Found the curve. So it's only a matter of knocking this out now and straightening it up and take all this off, and it might only just need because this is all filled in here as well. It should be like this back here, but it's all filled with body filler there. So nice skim coat of that and reshape it. Get it back looking how it should. So that's a bit of a simpler fix than I thought it was going to be. Well, still needs a bit of work, but yeah. Got quite a bit done today. All the nose cone, all that sort of stuff. So it's all starting to happen. Just get in and just get it all stripped now and start repairing, doing rust repairs. And so I've got a fair bit done. I didn't want to go through the whole process of showing you how to do all the nuts and bolts of the front end, all that sort of stuff. I think everyone else has already done all that sort of stuff. These are just images of what's inside the cavities and how good they actually look. They're just full of red dust, and basically the car's 47 years old. All the seals and that look really, really good. The bit of rust here, I dosed that up with some evapor rust and started to clean that off, and yeah, there's a bit of a process here and I'll show you some of that. So normally I use KBS Rust Blast. Today I'm trying evapor rust because I've got it 50% off yesterday, and it's a sort of different product. Like, it's biodegradable and doesn't smell. I do love this. This stuff here is really good. It puts like a zinc coating on it, cleans it off really well. It doesn't take too much time. But I got the evapor rust, and this was very heavy rust. And I put this in yesterday afternoon, and I kept it wet. And come out and give it a little squirt before, probably about 9 o'clock last night. I've just dosed it up again, run a wire brush over it, and it's already started to take it off. And actually, I feel if I actually got the high pressure hose or the gurney on it and just hit that, most of that would probably come off. Well, I'm going to let it soak for another day or two. The inside the doors are rusty as anything, so I'm going to go and hit them with the water blaster, give them a clean up, and then I'm going to soak them for 2 or 3 days in evapor rust and see how they go. It seems to be seems to stay wet longer. So I'll try that, and I can clean all the rust off the inside of those, and I'll put the rust blast down inside the cavities, kill it, to knock anything on the head that's down the side of there, and then I'll spray some rust converter. It's been, I don't know, 3 days. I've just been keeping it wet, and it's gone from pretty really heavy rust like that there, even heavier, and it's starting to come through. I'm going to give it a little dose of the water blast and see how we go. So let's just see how it goes. Try not to get too wet.
Pretty heavy rust.
Not too bad. I was expecting better, but because this was giving me a lot of hope when I saw it like this. I'll dose it up for another couple of days and see how she goes. I did the doors with the evapor rust, left them for three or 4 days, 3 days it was, and then dosed them up, and they came out really well. I was pretty happy with those. I revisited the floor of the tray and hit that with some more evapor rust, and it came out pretty good, and it got to this stage, and then I finally hit it with some KBS. So while out doing a job, I found myself near the paint shop. So I called in, I went and looked at all these colours I'd been thinking of, and I went back to the first colour that was in my mind, and I purchased that colour. And so I bought 6 litres of the colour and all the stuff to go with it, so it's now done. And the other thing I did was I sent the material and the door trim caps down to onestoptrimming.com.au, and I sent them on the Friday, rang them on the following Thursday to see if they got the caps and all the tops and the material that I sent them. They said, oh, we've already sent it back to you, they're already done, and they arrived like the day later. Very, very happy with the service and very happy with the product. Looked really great. So with the paint and the seat trims done, I was back onto doing panels, and I made up a couple of masker tape templates and cut out some pieces and worked out how to fold this without having to cut pieces, multiple pieces, and weld them all together. I really like to try and make shapes rather than weld everything together. With this rust repair, I've just got some tape stuck over where the rust and everything is, drawn a shape, put a line down the centre of the curve, same with the centre of the top curve. The rust seems to stop here, stops here, and stops here. So I'm hoping this is not as bad as it looks. So what I've done is I cut through here, cut around here. I'm going to pull all that out, but at first I made a masking tape template, and I'm going to cut a piece there and make sure I can get it to fit that first. So I've taken that out and I've cut out a bit of metal to the shape, left a bit of extra on it just to be on the safe side. Then I've started to bend this into shape just using my hand, and then once I got too far in, I've got a rubber mallet and started manipulating it in. So I've worked out roughly where that has got to be folded, and if you're wondering which line it is, it's a black one. And now I'm going to go over and transfer that shape to the bit of 35 by 75 and then cut the curve into it and get ready to fold it over. So I've got me a bit of 75 by 35 in the vise. I think that's the right size, isn't it? 75 by 35. And I've transferred the shape on, and I'm just going to get the jigsaw and cut through there, then the reciprocal saw and cut it off, and we should be good to go. So as you can see with the jigsaw, I've just gone through it and cut that curve into it. Now I'll cut it off and we'll put the metal back into it and start the folding process. So I've cut the curve, put the metal in, clamped it in the vise, lined up the lines where it's going to be folded, and now I'm just going to gently tap it over and just go backwards and forwards. And every now and then I'll just give the vise a little nip up. There may be easier ways I don't know, but I just like to use what I've got around. I don't want to spend heaps of money buying anything to form anything. It's just a matter of moving it along the process and just keep folding it back over on it. So as you can see, it doesn't take too long. The trick is you need to buy cold rolled metal. If you buy a hot rolled, it's not forgiving. It doesn't spring back into shape. You can't really manipulate it. Once it's in shape, it's stuck. With the cold rolled, you can hit it out of shape, back into shape, in and out of shape. So, for instance, I put that curve in it, and the curve was tapered to fit the taper of the door jamb. But putting it back in the block and squashing it is actually taking the taper back out of it. So once I get this burner around, I'll be able to then put that curve back into it and make it all line up again. So that's the beauty of cold roll. I think I bought a quarter of a sheet or half a sheet. I can't remember now. It was about 46 bucks. Used to buy 46 bucks. Used to get your full sheet, but it's not. I haven't got lots and lots of repairs to do. So, but anyway, there we go. So I'll come back later on and show you the result. So to get it to this shape, it's probably taken about a minute. You can see it's got a rough face on it. I'll then hammer that all flat and get that nice and smooth using the other solid part of my vise, and we'll test it and see how it all fits. So hopefully this looks a bit better now, the curve on it. And as I said, it'll need to be reshaped back because this curve here and this curve here are all different. Putting it in that bit of timber, you can see that it's straightened it back out again. So I need to fold this, push this all down, and but I'm happy with that curve now. I'm just going to knock it all in. Push this out so it comes out a bit, so this can go in, and then this will need to come up, so they'll allow this to go back down again. And it's just a little bit of playing around with it to get it right. You get the new piece to fit in nice and snug. As I said, when I put it back in the vise, the angle that I had here all disappears because this gets bent out of shape. So what I need to do now is massage the back of that again, just gently. Lost my rubber hammer. So that's just sitting in place, so it's not too bad. Once I put a couple of spots on it, I'll be able to manipulate it a bit more. Put this fold and that back into it, and I cleaned it, cut all this out because that was a bit too rusty, and I'll cut that out as well. Fix that up, and get it all back in. Put a new piece in. A little bit of rain around, a little bit of water in the shed. Wind's died down outside. Rain's supposed to be off and on, supposed to be more rain tomorrow. I think I might weld this thing here in, weld all this in, clean it all up. Might cut a 50mm space out about here somewhere, just so I can get in and put some more anti-rust products in that seal, because it's really good, that seal. I was quite surprised. Parts that are normally really rusty are all, got surface rust on them, but they're nice and solid. Like, there's a bit of a rust through here, but that's nothing. There's a bit of a spider jumping around. Oh, he's not too keen on me cleaning things up. And all these, no rust in them. So I cut this out just so I can check what the seals are really like. And it's the same as the other side. There's a bit of surface rust, but the seals are really good, and I'm assuming it's probably because they've drilled little holes in it to let any water out, so water's not staying in there for long periods of time. Plus I vacuumed it already. It was full of red dust, So it's only where this back windows leaked that's caused all this issue. And if that back window didn't leak, which you can see here, it's pretty bad, but not unrepairable. If that hadn't have leaked, this would probably be still in good nick. So it's a matter of fixing this up, that up, all around there, and we'll be right. Fortunately, unlike a lot of other 4-buggers, we didn't get any power shortages or, you know, tragic, massive destructive winds. We did have high winds, and we've still got a lot of rain happening now. It's been raining for quite a bit. The whole shed's just got a bit of water through it, but it always does. It's about jet skiing here at the moment. But I cut all these panels out, and I dosed it all up for 2 days. I dosed them all up and down inside with rust blast, and we kill all the rust in here because they only had surface rust in them. Then I've just now dosed them up with some rust converter, and then I'll spray them all with some black zinc as well. So I've done that both sides, and I cut a fair bit of this out because it did have a few holes here, but it's from water sitting down on top, not from being inside. Someone's actually drilled holes up through here every 320 mil or so along the length of the whole thing, so no water set in there. These are still the original seals, so they're 47 years old, and all they got on them is a bit of surface rust, except for the bit at the back, which is a commonplace to happen. But yeah, no, very happy with it all. So I've also cut the rear wall out, the wall that separates the tray from the cabin. There's a couple of spots which are really awkward to get to, so this should make it a bit easier to sort of that, surfing up both sides, and then I'll take this off completely, repair it all, and I'll clean it all up and seal it all inside as well. It should be good. Wasn't planning to do all this, was just going to hopefully just be able to do a few things and give it a potato paint and move forward from there, but oh well. It is what it is, so they say. I hate that saying, but it's true. Bit weird to be doing any painting, but you can't stop a bit of cutting and trimming. Just thought we got a bit of repair work to do.